What is up, YouTube? King of Pharaoh Imps here, and today I'm going to be profiling tokens, I've been working on this for a while, and, just having fun with it. Really, definitely not at all competitive, just not, hardly even a good deck, but it's very fun, of course. There is neat stuff you can do, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started right away. So first off, for monsters, I'm using 2 Tether Wolf. Could do 3. 2's fine, I guess. Just that when he's normal summoned, you can pop out a token, and during damage step, you can tribute a token, pump him up to 25, and he can't be destroyed while you control a token. So you're very useful in that regard. Like I said, could play 3, could play a lot of the other Mecha Phantom Beasts, but I'm only using him. Then I'm also using 3 Cyber Valley, of course, to banish a token and him to draw 2 cards. And since it's a token, it's essentially nothing at that point, and you're just kind of getting 2 cards for free. You really don't mind if Cyber Valley leaves or stays. You don't care too much about him. And then just 1 Dandelion. Should it happen to be sent to the graveyard, get 2 tokens. You play other cards that allow you to tribute, so you can sack off Dandelion and get 2 tokens. That's all for monsters. Only 6 monsters, because that's all you need. So now for actual token spammers, 3 Scapegoat, the basic, came back to 3, so just poop out 4 tokens by activating it. You can't summon anything else during the turn you activate it, so normally you'll be doing it during your opponent's end phase, but sometimes I guess you don't count too much whether you summon anything else. And I'm playing the new card also, Hippo Carnival. You summon 3 Hippo tokens, and you can actually summon something else during the turn you summon them. So it's 1 less than Scapegoat. I'm using this over Fires of Doomsday simply because you can summon other things that turn, and because it is 3 tokens. Well, 1 more. It can conflict sometimes because Scapegoat is 4 and this is 3, and then that kind of is a weird number, but still works out because you end up losing tokens a lot of the times also. Also, while you control a Hippo token, you cannot summon from your extra deck, and also the Hippo tokens cannot be tributed. Although during the turn you summon them, your opponent can only attack Hippo tokens, so they help with some protection, but mostly you'll be abusing them as tokens. From their 3 Pot of Duality, you don't have to normal summon on your turn, since your monster spammers are quick play spells. You can set them, activate them during your opponent's turn, and then your turn, you can duality, or you can duality set up, grab a Scapegoat, set it, so on and so on. 1 Day of Peace helps with not taking damage, and you're able to draw cards. And then, of course, 3 Upstart Goblin. Life points don't matter too much, really, especially in this deck. If you can just maintain an advantage or stun your opponent, becomes really helpful, really useful. From there, 2 Mini Guts. What Mini Guts does is you tribute 1 monster, and one of your opponent's monsters' attack becomes 0. And if that monster is destroyed by battle this turn, then your opponent takes its original attack points as damage while it's in the graveyard. So tribute 1 of your tokens, not your Hippo token, of course, your Scapegoat or your Dandelion. Your opponent's monster's attack becomes 0, then you can attack them for however much the monster you have has, and then their original attack points in the graveyard. So, really useful, really helpful. Then 2 Creature Swap. Lets you swap over your weak tokens, or swap over your Dandelion, or, your tokens or Dandelion. A lot of the times you'll want to swap over the Hippo token to stun your opponent, and they cannot special summon from the extra deck, while they control it. So, very useful from there. They can't tribute it for anything either. And, of course, you can take their big monster and then run over your the token that you gave them, and attack with everything else that you have. Then, 2 Token Sunday. Of course, this is a token deck. What it does is you blow up all your tokens, and then you blow up an equal number of cards your opponent controls. And it is cards, so you can hit spells, traps, pendulums, anything as long as it's a card on their side of the field. Actually, you can destroy cards on any side of the field, but mostly you'll be popping your opponents. I'm not playing Dark Hole or Regeki because, Dark Hole, kind of a backlash on Regeki only destroys monsters. I mean, although having Regeki back is great and is powerful, I just prefer Token Sunday because monsters aren't too much of a problem, especially when you creature swap. And yeah, you'll want to have your opponent's monsters on the field because of creature swap, because you play that. You could definitely up creature swap to 3 also. But Regeki and Dark Hole, I'm not playing them. You could. It's all for the spells that makes up a majority of the deck. Now on to traps. 1 compulsory evacuation device, and then 2 compulsory escape devices. What compulsory escape devices does is each player chooses a monster, does not target, chooses a monster on their side of the field and shuffles it back into the deck. So if your opponent has one monster that's just a really problem monster and you don't want it on the field, you don't want it, you don't want creature swap, like you don't want to creature swap it even if, and especially like this is a trap, so you can activate it during your opponent's turn. So you sacrifice one of your tokens, not sacrifice, but it gets bounced back. So this does become very useful in that you can essentially get rid of one of your tokens, get rid of one of your opponent's monsters, and especially shuffling it back into the deck. That's very fun, very useful. From there, 2 chains, stop monster effects that could be harmful. Triple token stampede. What this does is that every token in attack mode gains 1,000 attack points and can't be destroyed by battle. So that gives your tokens an extra 1,000 attack points, and they're able to attack over your opponent's monsters. Especially using mini guts on, say, your opponent's only monster. They'll take 1,000 from 1 token attacking it, the monster's original attack, engrave, and then maybe 2 other or 3 other, 2 other 1,000 from tokens in attack mode. Also helps if you give them a hippo token in attack mode. Can't be destroyed by battle. So if you have something bigger, then you can hit that hippo token for life point damage and keep your opponent stunned. And of course, you don't lose your tokens by battle, and you can just get rid of them however you want by tributing them or destroying them for your other cards. Then 1 Spirit Barrier to kind of combo with Token Stampede, so you take no life point damage. You could up this to 2. I might want to, or it could even cut it all together for other things. But it's there, it's fine. Then from there, 2 Aerial Recharge. Really, this should be a card that's called the Golden Apples. Probably going to be right there. So, because, with Golden Apples, you can get a bigger monster. But Aerial Recharge works just fine. Mostly I just use the token summon from these to pop off for effects. Mostly Tetherwolf's effect or Token Sunday or whatever. During the end phase, you do have to destroy this card or a token, which, isn't too bad, as long as every turn you consistently pop out a token, lose one. Maybe pop out a token for an extra 1,000 damage, and during the end phase, just get rid of it, because you might not necessarily need it, or you could get your field clearer to summon something else. But it's useful. But you really should be trying the Golden Apples, which I will put on the screen. From there, 2 Attack of the Cornered Rat. What this does is that if a level 3 or lower normal monster you control battles, then you can pay life points to have your opponent's monster lose that an equal amount of life points. You do have to pay in multiples of 100, so sorry, no getting down to 10 life points or whatever, but it is useful because all tokens do count as normal monsters, and they are all level 1 if a hippo or a scapegoat, or level 3 if a Mecha Phantom Beast. So, very useful, very good card like that. Essentially and honest that you have to pay life points for, but you do have other things to protect your life points, so you have something to use with. And then 1 Macrocosmos, because you don't care if things get banished. Doesn't conflict with Dandy too much, because you only play 1 Dandy, but Macro is good, just as long as you can stun your opponent and things. That's all for the traps. These pretty much are all continuous, so they all are MST baiters, which is, kind of good. You don't particularly care if 1 dies. I mean, you play 3 token stampedes and other things. But yeah, so that's it for the main deck. I'm not playing Gores, of course, because like I said, these are all continuous. So even with Gores at 2, bring out a big token. I mean, not necessarily going to be able to get it off because you do have to play all these. As far for the extra deck goes, of course, you don't need an extra deck, so just the mind games of all the fusion monsters and whatever. And And then tokens. Now with tokens, you're going to want to have some way to differentiate Hippo tokens from Scapegoat tokens. So generally I do Scapegoat tokens in black sleeves, and then Hippo tokens in blue sleeves. It is very important to know which kind is which, because the Hippo tokens cannot be tributed and the Scapegoat tokens can. And the Hippo tokens prevent you from summoning, and the Scapegoat tokens do not. So, like I said, you just need to know what type of token it is. Normally I just go by sleeve or type of card. So anyway, that has been my token deck for October 2014. There's not too much of it, changed by the ban list. There are definitely lots of things you could do. You really could play Gores had you not played all the continuous spells and traps, and should you not need them. Regeki you definitely could try. I'm just not using it because there are things that do get effects when they're destroyed, so it is a bit risky, kind of giving them that kind of power. But, against rogue matchups, they are very, 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 good. It is very good against that. Although it is only one card, but it's still very overpowered. This deck is a very fun deck. Probably the funnest part I say about it is being able to use Kopaka as a token and then just beat over my opponent's things. And then just, if I creature swap over, give them something stupid like my fake Bagon. So funny. So, if you enjoy the content, please remember to subscribe. Also leave a like and a comment to show your support. My Twitter account is active now. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description, and it's going to be probably right about here. It is King of Pharaoh Imps at King of Pharaoh Imps, on Twitter.com. So go ahead and follow me. I'll tweet mostly every day. So go ahead and also tweet me any pictures of any fake Pokemon cards you happen to find, because I find these things hilarious. So anyway, this has been King of the Pharaoh Imps, signing out.